Afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. Shailaja from NCCS Pune. We work largely on network and systems biology and simulations. To give a brief introduction about our lab, we basically are working in this field since long, and we try to integrate the action of all the regulatory circuits and the crosstalk between the signaling pathways through extensive MD simulations and network biology based drug discovery. So hereby we have chosen this hands-on demo session for how to go about the drug discovery process and why is it important. Okay, so I hope all of you might have installed Desmond on your system, whereby we will be talking about the how molecular dynamics simulations are done, what is the practical applicability of this particular science, which is there in the computational biology domain. So, as I told you that the principal tool in the theoretical study of biological molecule is basically dependent upon this MD simulations. So what exactly we do in MD simulation is this is we use a computational tool basically for the drug discovery purpose, and the main advantage is that you have the you explicitly treat with your molecules, say your protein, your receptors, your nucleic acid, in a way that you treat them with the structural flexibility, their effect of entropy, or I should precisely talk about the entropic effects, and it actually helps us to have a more accurate estimation of the thermodynamics and kinetics which is associated, say if we are going about the drug target binding studies, then we need some hardware architecture, some better algorithms, to give a theoretical background of how that particular structure or the complex will behave in terms of the molecular dynamics, in terms of energy perturbation, in terms of, I should say, meta dynamics. So, all of these, they basically consistently, are used to study the drug target binding. MD simulations are not only used for the drug discovery purpose, they are used for other purposes also. Some people actually do large scale weather simulation, forecasting of weather, etc. Some do it for polymer based studies, some has applicability in agriculture also. Since my lab is a drug discovery lab, so we basically use it for studying of the drug target binding, etc. So nowadays MD simulation, as I told you, have basically allowed us to how to optimize the affinity and the drug residence time, etc., or I should say how to improve the efficacy of the drug. This particular simulation can be used, and as you can see, this is a powerful computer simulation technique which allows you to predict the evolution of your interacting particles, whether it be atoms, whether it be molecules, whether it be any kind of granules, etc. And we basically go about this studying the inherent feature in terms of macroscopic and microscopic properties. So all these are basically governed by the statistical mechanics. When I say this, what do we understand? Because supposedly if I talk about the classical MD, then classical MD is more or less studying the interaction and the motion of the atoms and molecules, and that is actually with regard to Newton's physics. So you have a force field, so different force field is there, which we will be talking now also in a few minutes of time. in the subsequent slides I have that. So our force field is basically used to estimate the forces, between your interacting atoms and the molecules which you have chosen for study. So during MD simulation, all this integration of Newton's laws of motion is basically, taking care of the successive configuration of the evolving system, and that is what is written over here. The prediction of the time evolution of a system, and that basically helps you to provide the trajectories, that specify the positions, that specify the velocities of the particles over time. So in our demo session you will see how this is calculated, and from these trajectories of molecular dynamic simulation you can really calculate many more properties that will I will show you in my demo session. You can calculate the free energy, you can calculate many of the macroscopic quantities which is enlisted, which will be which you can also compare with the experimental observations which you will have in your laboratory. And more precisely, if I can say, that is also with theoretical physics. And this has started way back in late 1950s. Only you have this applicability in chemical physics, material sciences, modeling of biomolecules, and as I told you more recently with this drug discovery program. So pioneering studies was done by Martin Karplus, and first MD simulation of protein was achieved way back in 1977. So all this MD simulations basically to deal with the conformational spaces, I should say. Classical MD simulation is very powerful in studying the biological systems to obtain the different conformation of whether be a protein, whether be a nucleic acid, and also for protein folding studies. So in recent times researchers or scientists, they have recognized that MD can overcome the major limitations which are there in terms of I should say ligand docking calculations, or I should say major protein conformational rearrangements which happen during ligand binding. So what exactly happened? You have the structural flexibility, and wherein you have the atoms and other things which is bound, and we all know that if I'm talking about the Newton's laws of motion, the force of those particles and the acceleration will be governed by the mass and acceleration for forces. So from this acceleration the velocity is calculated, and from the velocity you can calculate the position of that particular atom, and hence in a given time frame from t plus delta t, the new position of the atom can be computed. So this particular thing, motion of the atom by integrating the equation over a period of time, actually helps you to understand the mechanics of MD simulations. So how do you do this in a computer? So in a computer, as I told you, you have those biomolecules, which is in itself composed of several of these atoms which are connected with covalent bonds, etc. So each of the atom of the molecule is considered as a particle, and covalent bond between those atoms is considered as a string. So once you have this forces inherent within the molecule, you have the size of the particle, which is governed by the van der Waals radii, etc. So how do you calculate the strength? So meaning you have a size of the carbon which will be larger than the hydrogen and smaller than the oxygen. So in likewise, supposedly you have that spring which is defining the strength of the covalent bond, or it is representing the double bond which is stronger than the single bond and weaker than the triple bond. So how this forces can be calculated in terms of non-bonded interaction energy, in terms of bonded interaction energy, so as to compute the total bond energy of that particular biomolecule. It plays a very, very remarkable role in determining the conformational plasticity, I should say, of that biomolecule. So, barring the range of interactions, right from van der Waal to electrostatic, they all play a major substantial role because of the high charge density on those particles. And appropriately, we assign the charges on those particles so that we are able to get the function optimized or function characterized by the conformational sampling of those biomolecules in a computer. Understand? So this is what we do. So using all those information, as I told you, we have to compute the total dynamic processes which occur in a biological system. Say for example, if we are talking about the protein stability, we are talking about the conformational changes, we are talking about the protein folding, or even for molecular recognition, if we are talking about certain membrane complexes, also the ion transport in a biological system, also means and ways to carry out the studies for drug designing, structure determination through X-ray or NMR. So the combination of all of these parameters and the mathematical equation is defining your force field. And from the potential energy which I told you, you will be able to calculate the negative gradients, and that will actually help you to calculate the position of the atoms of your biomolecule of interest which you are using for your study. So this concept is very important. Say for example, over here we have a 3D structure of a molecule which is required to be simulated, and all the coordinates of this particular molecule is very, very important, and the connectivity between each of them also plays a major role, as I told you, for van der Waal radius, bonding, the parameters, the charges, force constants, and also how the negative gradient of the potential energy will be able to compute the bonded interaction energy. So all of these parameters will be computed with regard to the simulation space. As I told you, for statistical mechanics also, all the simulation will be generating the information at the microscopic level, means you will have the atomic position, you will have the atomic velocities, and all the conversion of all this microscopic information to, I should say, the macroscopic information or observation in terms of pressure, in terms of energy, in terms of heat capacities, etc. So all this statistical mechanics is also very much important in studying the dynamics of the biological systems by molecular dynamics simulation. So this is what we have been trying to do, and we have been like talking about the bonded and the non-bonded interaction energy. So what again I would like to reiterate that we are trying to compute or explore the macroscopic properties of a system through the microscopic simulation. Supposedly, if we want to calculate the changes in the binding energy, binding free energy of a particular drug candidate over here, so or if we want to, I should say, examine the energetics and the mechanisms of conformational changes of that particular drug candidate, how to go about it. So the connection between the microscopic simulation and the macroscopic properties is via your statistical mechanics and rigorous computation of your mathematical expression which I talked about in terms of negative potential energy, and that would actually mean the solvation of the equation of motion of particles. Okay, so with molecular dynamic simulation, we are studying the thermodynamic properties, or I should say time dependent phenomena. And this is what we were talking about in terms of bonded and non-bonded. For van der Waal interaction, the bond angles, dihedrals, and stretching and Coulomb forces of interaction. So all of them together compute your total binding energy. So, interaction potential arises due to the covalent binding properties, and the stretching and the angle bending phenomena is described by the Hooke's law, wherein the rotation about the bonds is considered as a sinusoidal function. So, you can see the stretch terms and the bond, the torsion angles, etc., which is computed for your particular biomolecule of interest by the application of a force field parameter. So you have the different potentials, Lennard-Jones potential, Coulomb's potential, etc., which actually shows the power of these methods for studying, say, protein ligand binding or estimation of the associated free energy and kinetics, and also show the implementation of molecular dynamics and engage the different biological targets which are druggable, and druggable target means you have to have that target behaved in terms of aiding the discovery of entirely new or a molecule, I should say, and that should be able to map on the surface of your biomolecule by the conventional experimental techniques. So, this molecular dynamics has got an ever increasing role in the evolution of a few theoretical concepts, I should say, and these theoretical concepts which we take into account for the computation of the different energy parameters, they form the basis, of classical molecular dynamics, and this actually helps you to have an effective implementation of the molecular dynamics for retrieving or major thermodynamic data, I should say, in terms of binding free energy. So you can see how these methods, with the help of metadynamics, with the help of free energy perturbation, helps you to have a perspective of the critical role of MD simulations for binding and unbinding kinetics of drugs with the help of different physicochemical properties. Okay, so you have different variety of chemical compounds, you have different force field. Supposedly, if we are dealing with proteins, DNA, lipids, small molecules, we use charm force field. Amber for proteins, DNA, and small molecules. OPLS, these are different force field which we use for MD simulations. Mostly we deal with charm, amber, OPLS. Supposedly, if we go for sugar moieties and all, then we apply Gromos, and for small molecules, if you are dealing with, say, optimization and screening, virtual screening, then we go for MMFF, CFF for organic compounds, and UFF for most of the elements in the periodic table. So these are commonly used molecular mechanic force field which we use for our MD simulation studies. We will be dealing with some of them in the Desmond package of Schrodinger, and see how this computation actually helps you to obtain a stable conformational state of a particular biomolecule. Okay, so we have this molecule. Once you have this needs to be simulated in a particular solvation. So say, for example, if you want to immerse it in a lipid environment, if you want to have a hydrated molecule with water, organic solvent, etc., so in order to mimic the natural environment, this must be having some explicit solvation and implicit solvation. Why it is important, participant? Because solvation medium actually helps you to provide the appropriate dielectric effect. So once we the assigning of the appropriate dielectric effect is done, we can actually see which predominant factor is helping you to determine the molecular interactions. So a solvation model can be explicit and implicit. Explicit solvation model will have physical presence of the water models, while implicit solvation will only mimic the dielectric effect of the solvent medium. Explicit solvation is performed in a proper solvation box with PBC, that is your periodic boundary condition. We set this periodic boundary condition, and that we will be doing in our demo session also. So the central idea behind any MD simulation is studying the time dependent behavior of a microscopic system. And then we have the different solvation. As I told you, you have actual model of solvent molecules which is already present in terms of simple point charge, SPC, SPCE. TIP3P is transferable intermolecular potential with 3P, 4P, and 5P. It is computationally expensive, but gives you more accurate result when we do the explicit solvation. When we do the implicit solvation, you have GBB, GMB, GBMB, a PBSA solvation, wherein you have continuous homogeneous medium of the bulk dielectric constant medium. It is less accurate than the explicit solvation system. We have, as I told you, you have force field, that permits the extended MD simulation of larger biomolecular systems. Over here, I showed you this force field. So despite some of the intrinsic limitations, force field used nowadays, I told you CHARM, UMBER, OPLS, they all have attained very high standard quality, which is also, dictated by the practical considerations, and also preferred MD simulation, or I should say MD engine of the choice. So in addition to, say for example, amino acids, or if you set parameters for nucleic acid, lipids, carbohydrates, you have all this force field parameters that can actually be extended by extending the original parameterization of these molecules. Okay, so the structure, what I mean to say is that the structural variability of the small molecules, that is your ligand, should be get itself acquainted to the force field, and we the user must be able to supply the specific parameterization in terms of force field. So participant, this is very very important, and scientists all over the world, they have put in serious effort to simplify and automate the time consuming and the error prone procedure, I should say, for organic compounds, for supposedly if I deal with some of the organic compounds in terms of CFF or CGNFF, there are many of these. We have Paramfit also, and some AMBA programs like over here enlisted. So all of this systematic parameterization method provided by the force field should be able to help you to derive parameters by combining the physical uh, uh, atomic charges, I should say, partial atomic charges, the dihedral angle potential, when dealing with all the small molecules, etc. So they should be combining your theoretical data, they should be combining your experimental data in a flexible way. So that is the take home message, participants. So choose your force field in a way that should be systematically parameterized. That means you should be able to provide the force field which is able to derive parameters by combining your theoretical data, and also it should combine your theoretical plus experimental data in a flexible way. That is what I wanted to tell you. Now, as I told you, in terms of explicit solvation and implicit solvation, there are different ensembles also. One, when we go over there, so you have this microcanonical and canonical and isothermal isobaric ensembles, which your program offers you. So when you go for, say, for example, Newtonian dynamics in terms of Verlet, leapfrog, and velocity Verlet integration, then you have the microcanonical ensemble, that is NVE. I'll show you in Desmond how is it. NVT is canonical class, which is also using two thermostats. We often in papers you might have read also, or if some of you might have done also, you might be knowing Berenson thermostat and Nose Hoover. So Berenson is basically scaling of the velocities to obtain the exponential relaxation of temperature. Nose Hoover is another algorithm class for the canonical ensemble, which offers you additional degree of freedom, which is coupled to your physical system. And in terms of NPT, that is your isothermal isobaric, it precisely gives you the information about the volume of the system, which is allowed to fluctuate, and it is regulated by the barostat algorithms. So please remember, whenever you read that paper, always it has the ensembles defined in terms of NVT, NPT, and NVE. So NPT is isothermal isobaric canonical. You have two, Berenson and Nose Hoover. So depending upon the scaling of the velocities, or you are dealing with the degree of freedom, you assign the algorithm, you choose the algorithm for proper, attaining the conformational stable biomolecule. And if you are using a microcanonical ensemble, then you take into account Verlet, leapfrog, and velocity Verlet. I'm not dealing the algorithm over here in detail, but this is just an overview. If you are dealing in a much more broader sense, I would say one should just go and just quickly see what this dynamics actually talks about. Then we have the fastest motion in the chemical system. For the bond stretching, it is between 10 to the power minus 14 to 10 to the power minus 13 seconds. For elastic vibration, it is 10 to the power minus 12 to 10 to the power minus 11 seconds. So ideally, the time steps which is there should be 1/10 of the highest frequency. And fastest motion in chemical system is bond stretching, which all of you know, and that fluctuates from 10 to the power 13 to 10 to the power 14 per second. So the typical time step in MD simulation, which is your governing of all the bonded and the non-bonded interaction parameters in terms of your bond angles, impropers, dihedrals, torsional angles, is 1 femtosecond. So that is exactly 10 to the power minus 15 seconds. Okay, so all of these, why I'm saying this, that all of these observables, they are very very important in governing your thermodynamic parameters to be computed from your MD simulation trajectory. Okay, so that is why this is very very important, and you should all remember that why is it done. If I talk about the bond stretching, you have it in the range of 10 to the power minus 15 to 10 to the power minus 12. And elastic vibration, the simulation is given. The relaxation time of the properties under investigation ranges from, different 10 to the power minus 9, 10 to the power minus 6. And if you go for protein folding, mainly it ranges from 10 to from, say, for example, 1 microsecond simulation is done. So in order to better understand the flexibility and the conformational space of the molecule. So what I mean to say is that MD simulation basically helps you to understand the 3D structure, the potential energy in terms of force field, whatever you are assigning, and henceforth define the physicochemical properties based on Newton's second law of motion. And molecules to be simulated must be in a correct chemical configuration with respect to its ionization, charges, forces, radii, stereochemical forces, and simulation parameters, say the periodic boundary conditions, and also the various ensemble, the microcanonical, the canonical, or isothermal, isobaric ensembles are also very important in determining the simulation event analysis or MD trajectory, which you say as the result of your simulation obtained from the particular software or whatever platform you are using to understand the calculation of the free energy differences and entropy related quantities, your thermodynamic parameters, your sampling limitations, your statistical mechanics, whatever you have applied in terms of force field, and all the limitations and rescaling the probability of using canonical to microcanonical to isothermal, isobaric ensembles, all of these relationship, the configurations, which actually helps from low energy state, or the barriers which might be which is required to achieve a converging free energy estimate, I should say, or a reliable free energy estimation of a particular biomolecule. They all play a very very important role in the computational free energy differences and interacting partners which are there in your MD simulation box. So many absolute comparisons with the experimental data are taken into consideration when you compute your delta G, or delta G, I should say. And in principle, many of these binding events or unbinding events actually helps to draw meaningful or statistically meaningful probability ratio between different conformational states. So even if you have a weak interacting partner or a weakly interacting solute, I should say, then a stronger binding is considered. And then in order to have a stronger binding, you should have a more prolonged MD simulation, so that you can recover the transition state, and then you can enhance the sampling procedure with the adopted strategy for your particular biomolecule of interest, which you are performing for simulation studies. So how do we go about it in computer? So you have your biomolecule of interest. So initially we prepare, so there is some preparation of that molecule. We define our boundary condition, solvation, and the run parameters in terms of three states. Participants, those are initialization, equilibration, and production. And finally, when we do the MD simulation, we analyze our trajectory for seeing the potential energy, total energy, and other states parameters, which is important. Okay, so now today we will be talking about Desmond. There are other softwares also. You have GROMATS. This is also open source, a very good package, which is also used. Desmond is also freely available and open source, which you can use. And the different force field parameters are CHARM, UMBER, and NAMD, which these packages use. Today I'll be talking about Desmond simulation. So initially we will be preparing a biomolecule, and then preparing a protein. Then we will have the system build up. Then we will have minimization, then molecular dynamics, and then analysis. Okay, so please remember these steps, participants. If you want to note down also, you can note it down, but we will be providing you the PPTs and other prerequisites which is required for simulation, but when you see the demo it will be easier. So I'm just telling you that you should just note it down for your ease. Initial project preparation we will do protein preparation, we will build the system, then we will minimize, we will perform the molecular dynamics with the different parameters, and then we will analyze our trajectory, that is the result. So when you will analyze the result class, you will have RMSD and RMSF. So we'll be talking about this also. This is root mean square deviation, and this is root mean square fluctuation. Okay, so this is analyzed for the molecules in terms of torsional energy, Coulomb's energy, bond energy, and different van der Waal interaction energy. The total energy is also computed. This also I'll show you how this is computed for a biomolecule. in a short frame of time. And also we will be able to see, once you achieve this biomolecule parameterization and conformational stable conformational state, how this is obtained. So does anyone knows what do I mean by RMSD? Okay, RMSD is we use it in, say, root mean square deviation. That is the measurement for your structural distance between the coordinate of your biomolecule. So it actually helps you to measure the average distance between the group of atoms which is there in your biomolecule. Say, for example, if I'm trying to measure with the backbone atoms of a protein, then it computes the total root mean square deviation. And this is with reference to each of the residue. You calculate your root mean square fluctuation. Okay, so whenever you perform an experiment that gives you a series of values which you want to compare against your theoretical value, then you have the root mean square deviation or even root mean square error, and you calculate by finding the square root of the mean square error. That is what is the root mean square deviation. Am I clear about root mean square deviation? And other thing, that is, again I repeat, average distance between the group of atoms. Say, for example, if I want to compute for the backbone atom of your particular biomolecule, I will calculate RMSD by measuring the similarity between the superimposed atomic coordinates. Is it clear? If some of you can just unmute yourself and say, it would be good. And you understood the root mean square fluctuation? That is for individual reference positions. So each of the individual amino acid residue is taken into consideration, means the displacement or displacement of a particular atom or a group of atoms, which is compared with the reference structure relative, and then it is averaged over the total number of atoms. So this is what we do in root mean square fluctuation. Is it clear the difference between the RMSD and RMSF?
Yeah, ma'am, it's clear.
Okay, thank you very much. Because it feels that now we will go for demo. I hope if some of you have downloaded Desmond, that will be okay. But if not, then I'll show you how to do it. As I told you in my PPT slide, that first of all, we will be doing initial project preparation, and then your preparation of your biomolecule, building up of the system, minimization and dissimulation, and then the analysis in terms of determining the trajectory. So first, when we go about this, we have this project, making the new project. So we will open it in the terminal. You have to open it with your root, wherein you have installed, and then cd opt Schrodinger, the version of the Desmond which you have installed on your system. It will launch the um, Desmond in your system dot maestro. It's a jar base, so it will open the interface of your molecular modeling maestro. Once it is there, you can open the project, change the working directory, go to the space wherein you have your biomolecule, and choose it to save that particular project in the desktop as a demo file. Okay, is it clear to you, or should I repeat it?
No, ma'am, it's
Once
clear.
you open the terminal, we will go to the root. Always you have to launch it from the root, because then your terminal will not be your maestro will not get launched. We will open the file, the terminal version of the dot maestro modeling interface. We will change the working directory. First of all, please change the working directory. This is very, very important. And take your biomolecule of interest as a demo and save it onto the place where you want to do it. So we have made this new project which was important, and thereby what we will do is, now we have done the initial preparation, right? So now we will prepare our protein. So we have already saved our molecule onto the desktop. So from here, we will click our protein preparation wizard. We will say OK and go for the inclusion of this demo project wherein we have saved, and open this in the window. Over here, we have the pre-processing step. So all the other parameters will be kept as default. Once you do this pre-processing, you can see something like this will be popping up, and you can see the browsing and reviewing and modifying it also onto the same terminal. Select one of these chains and analyze the workspace. So when you analyze the workspace, you can just go on and refine the workspace with different parameters of pH. And over here I have taken neutral pH. You can also converge the heavy atoms to RMSD and optimize. So once you are preparing your protein with the neutral pH, you can monitor with the wizard also. So herein you can see how it is, completing the preparation of your protein is completed. And in the log box, the job summary appears. I will repeat this once again, though it will be there, but it will be good if you can see I had already saved it onto the desktop of my machine. So I opened it from the protein preparation wizard, and I just kept the default parameters with the opening of my molecule which I had saved. I will change the pH of this particular in terms of pre-processing. Once your pre-processing of the workspace structure is done, you can go and review and modify your structure over here. Yeah. And then select the chain A, analyze the workspace, other parameters, keep it as default, and then refine. So you have to import, process, review, modify, and refine. So once you do the pre-processing of after importing, then you review and modify and then refine in terms of neutral pH, and then optimize your PDB structure, and then your protein is assigned, and it runs with the refinement with the pre-processing step. So this was your preparation of your protein which has been completed. Okay, is this a step clear? So we have done the initial launching and preparation of the protein wizard. So when this is done, but now we will go for building up of the system. So the building up of the system is again, from here we'll take the system builder, and solvation we will do. Preferred solvation will be, you can do it SPCP, TIP3, it all depends. Last, what is the size of your molecule? You can take the box shape also, you can vary, or you can keep it as default and then do the run. We will change the ions. So neutralization is being done by adding 24 sodium ions. We recalculate based upon the structure or the conformational space of the biomolecule which you have taken, and then we will run it. So two things are done over here: solvation and ionization. So once you prepare your protein, the other thing which is done is your solvation and ionization. So you will be able to monitor it also. Here you can see how many pseudo structures, the pseudo particles, etc. are assigned to your molecule. That is visible. It takes a little while, so that has been computed. Again, I'll show you. You have to click it from here, go for your system building after your protein preparation, System building is in terms of two: solvation and ionization. Solvation we are doing with transferable intermolecular potential with 3p. You can choose TIP, 4p, 5p as per your molecule. Other parameters remain the same, and then we do the run. After this is completed, we do the ionization. Ionization over here is neutralization by adding 24 sodium ions. So again we recalculate it, and then we see the recalculation based upon the total charge of your molecule, and then we do the running. Once we do this, you can always analyze the running of the job in the workspace, and it takes a little while to prepare your system build up after your protein preparation is done. Okay, so we have done the incorporation, and we have built our system. We have prepared our protein. The system is built in terms of solvation, in terms of ionization. Okay, once we do this system building and ionization, then we have to go for minimization. And this minimization class, we will go with the project table, because we have already got the molecule. We will open that particular molecule, and then you can see with the minimization load from the workspace, which we have already loaded. And the iterations also you can do as per your computational speed. The convergence threshold, kilocalorie per mole, also you can set it to 2 or 1 or 3 depending upon what is the nature of your biomolecule, or keep it as default, and then run your job. It will also take some time. It doesn't happen, a few minutes of time is taken, so a couple of minutes, and then you can always monitor in the workspace and finish the minimization. So minimization, if you want for 10, 100,000, accordingly you have to provide it in your condition. So this again we will see, you have the loading from the Windows project table. You have your system builder, which we have already saved. You will open it, go from the right corner, do the minimization, load your molecule from the workspace, keep the maximum iterations as per your choice: 2000, 3000, 4000, 5000. Threshold kilocalorie per mole, also you can change it to 2, 3 depending upon the nature, and then run your job. It will take a couple of minutes to finish. So be patient, and you have to monitor. You do not have to switch off the system. You will have to monitor it depending upon the processor speed on which you are working. If it is a high end workstation, etc., it gets completed in a much fewer time. So once we have done this minimization, then we go for the main step, which is your molecular dynamic simulation. And from here we will open the same table which you have minimized. So once that PDB structure is saved, you load it from this particular molecular dynamics option. Load in a similar fashion as we had done from minimization. Simulation time over here we have kept 1.2. You have the recording interval, means you can create a movie of your trajectory files. And this is helpful because some of the publications, some of the journals, they do demand. So over here we have changed it to 10 nanosecond. Ensemble, we have chosen isothermal, isobaric, NPT. You can choose it as per your choice, and then you can run your job. So I have assigned total of 6 processors. You can change it if you want to 4 processors, 2 processors, depending upon the configuration of your machine, and then do the running. It will also take a couple of minutes, so you will have to patiently wait till your MD simulation is completed. So whether you want for 50 nanosecond, 100, 200, 500, 1000 nanosecond, that is your 1 microsecond simulation, the process will start, and it will show all the spatial restraint, the solution, the heavy atoms incorporation, and the partial restraints, the calculation of your distant energy, etc. So all of these can be calculated. So we started with the loading of your minimized structure. Then from the right hand corner, you took the molecular dynamics, you loaded your minimized structure from the workspace, and you can accordingly vary your simulation time from 10 nanoseconds to 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever is your choice. And then you are running your biomolecule for simulation with ensemble. So over here the ensemble class is npt, and also the relaxation protocol, if you want you can choose yours, or if not you can do the default parameters and assign the number of processors which you want your md simulation of your protein molecule to be used, 4, 6, 2. Accordingly you verify and run it. It will again take a couple of minutes to start. Say for example 500 and all, it will take 2 days, 3 days, or even a 10 hours depending upon where you are. If it is a server it might take few hours. If it is a simple desktop machine wherein you have installed your virtual box, it might take 2 3 days also to complete the simulation of 200 nanosecond, 500 nanosecond. It might go to 15 days or so, and then you are able to obtain a particular stable conformational state of a biomolecule. So once this step is considered, this is your analysis. So for the analysis of your trajectory, now you go and finish with the simulation quality analysis. So here you can see you have the total energy calculated, potential energy, temperature, pressure, volume. You can analyze, and then you can see the plots of all of these energy plots: temperature, pressure, volume, total energy. So this is the plot for the total energy in terms of volume energy which you were seeing. You can also go for simulation event analysis and see energy, hydrogen bonds, RMSD and RMSF. So the structure is loaded, for which I performed my molecular dynamics. I want to see the RMSD. So I have set my frame, and I want to see the backbone. So I preferred predefined set for RMS. I want to see is for the backbone, and I chose it to run. And once I do this, I will get a plot for this. So this plot you can see, we will be seeing in the analysis tool of RMSD. So we will analyze, and this is the plot which one obtains for your RMSD backbone. So you can see for RMSF also you can excuse me, analyze, and we can add this pre-filtering criteria over here in the box and then do the analysis and see the plot in the simulation event analysis. So we'll click analyze, and then we will see the RMSF plot for this particular biomolecule of interest. So this is the, you can see this is quite stable. And in terms of energy properties, you can have van der Waal bond, Andwell torsion, improper dihedrals, the Coulomb's forces of interaction, which again you can save it in terms of energy parameterization. So whatever is there, you have to double click on the edit properties over here. We did it for RMSD, RMSF. Now we are doing for Coulomb's, van der Waal bond, Andwell torsion. We will analyze the result and run, and we'll get the total plot that you have seen in the simulation event analysis of this particular biomolecule. So once it is there, you can always analyze it in the monitor, and the job has started for the computation of energy properties of that particular biomolecule, and it will give you the result by clicking it onto the analysis property, and all of these energies can be plotted. So once it is done, you can see you have the direct conformational state of this biomolecule, which you can play and see that this is important because supposedly the journal asked you that, okay, you have to show me the video of its proper conformational state, how the backbones or how the loops, the turns, the helices, etc., they behave after particular shifting. So how to go about it, this is very very important. Okay class, so once we do this, we also can always create a movie file. um, I will have to open this and we'll see. So this actually will represent the conformational state of the biomolecule which is there in your system. Just a moment, it has hanged, I guess. So this is the one. So you can see that the molecule which I just simulated, showed you the simulation demo, how it has attained a particular conformational state wherein I can say that it is stable. So this is the entire thing which I wanted to show with the help of molecular dynamic simulation, wherein you have the few steps of initial um, protein preparation, your system building, and then is your first is your protein preparation, then is your system building, and then is your minimization, and then is your molecular dynamics, and then is your analysis. And once you analyze your system in terms of energy plots, in terms of RMSD, RMSF, you can see the stabilization of your particular molecule. You can relate it with the experimental set of data. Supposedly, if I want to mutate some of the residues, etc., you can always go and do the refinement. So these are the practical applicability which you can do. This movie file I showed you, and there have been many success stories for MD simulation. You might have heard of many of the drugs coming out of it, many of the nanopore simulations, which has really created boomerang in the field, and that was for the satellite tobacco mosaic virus also, wherein you had the MD simulations, which actually helps you to identify and see the different membrane curvatures. Why this is important? Because membrane permeability in biological systems, this is very very important to govern the dynamics for the permeation study, and for seeing the usage of emerging of significant areas, or screening of novel compounds, etc. So excuse me, this is very important. And some of you might be knowing that we can also perform replica exchange molecular dynamic simulation. So that means that if you have performed a particular simulation, say for example, just now I showed a demo of a particular biomolecule at a particular temperature and pressure. Now you want to exchange it with certain other temperature and pressure, and then combined study if you want to see that what will happen to my protein aggregation by studying a different physiological conditions, how my system is going to behave. So sampling of those conformational state with different temperature, pressure, energy, barrier system, how my system is going to really present or maintain a system with novel input and drug discovery program, etc. So those kind of studies are known as replica exchange molecular dynamic simulation, and they have got very specific illustrative applications with respect to drug discovery, pharmaceutical development. So even for say for example natural products, people have done many recent screening of cert1 activators, say for example mulberine, quinine, quinidin. So they do this kind of study, and that has all become routine computational tools, I should say, which started way back in 1950s to 1970s, and with the congregation of multiple structures which got identified over a period of time, we have employed our molecular dynamic simulation and quantitated with the displaced water from this, you say, nanopore by DNA strand. And all of these, they have made a very very good example set for cross-train simulation also. Supposedly we want to calculate with total mass of some few atoms, you can always study that also. So cross-train simulation to statistical simulation to simulation program in polymers, nanopore material, all of them, they have wide practical applicability, and ranging from, as I said, conformational sampling, refinement of the macromolecule structures, whether it is by X-ray, whether it is by NMR, then whether you are trying to lay a mechanistic insight on the catalytic reactions in terms of folding, in terms of unfolding processes in solution, say for example aqueous solution, or your research in the area of protein ligand interactions. All of them, they play a very very dynamic role, I should say, and very very important tool, from the classical molecular dynamics method to the more sophisticated, I should say, quantum approaches, quantum mechanical approaches, MD simulations. They have, very very extraordinary insight you can uh, lay into, and one should actually lay a very very deeper meaning, because why I'm saying this, because of my interest in CAD, that is your computer aided drug design. All of you might be knowing also that for our as far as Indian scenario is considered, you have carbonic anhydrase inhibitor, that is dorzolamide, which was approved in 1995 by Vijay Krishnan, and in 2009. So he published a paper. So, the angiotensin converting enzyme, the ACE inhibitor, captopril, which was approved in 1981. All of these, they form the earliest example of the approved drugs through all this computational pipeline. So and all of them playing an important role with the successful applications. So drugs, there are applications wherein drugs have moved from your concept based, I should say, theoretical to experimental to clinical. Yeah, so this, they have practical applicability. And even if you are starting from scratch, if you are trying to understand and trying to understand the computing power in terms of biological senses, a molecular dynamic simulation has far more to go. So with the application of Desmond, all of you can go class and really download this tool. It is very user friendly, and I hope, like many of you have been exposed to VirtualBox and Linux things, so you can just